my love, my love, my love? Do you wanna be my love, love, love? Do you wanna be my love?
Let's just jump right into it. Welcome everybody to the AEW Revolution live post show. I am your host, Ango, and tonight this live stream is sponsored by streammusic.gg, a new outlet for creators and streamers to use background music, no risk of copyright. AEW Revolution just went off the air. Tons of big things happened in this card. I have some good thoughts. I have some bad thoughts. I got to be honest. I do, little spoiler alert, I do think this is the best AEW pay-per-view of all time, and I have visited several of them. But with that being said, I'm going to move this mic. I'm going to get adjusted because even though I think this is the best AEW pay-per-view of all time, there are some things I do have to complain about. I have to be fair. That is my job. My job is to be a fair analyst. But nonetheless, I am super excited about this because I did really enjoy AEW Revolution. I just want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. I know we got a couple hundred people already watching the stream, so thank you for stopping by. Yes, we saw the debut of William Regal. Yes, we saw a ton of violence. And yes, we did see a ton of blood. I hope the audio and everything is looking good. And hopefully the quality of this stream is pretty sweet. If you guys want to support the channel, there's a couple ways you could do so. You can leave a donation through a super chat. If you guys leave a super chat, that is greatly appreciated. I will read all of your questions and comments through super chats at the end of the show. I also want to let you guys know if you want to become a channel member, you absolutely can do that as well, starting at $4.99 a month. Nonetheless, we are going to talk about it. We got the card in front of us. We got the notes. Tons of big things happened on this pay-per-view. Couple different debuts. No championship changes. I thought that was kind of odd, but we did get a new championship belt reveal, which was pretty cool. 3 matches on the pre-show. I think there was a total of 12 matches. The pay-per-view started 7 p.m. Eastern time. It ended at around 11:50 p.m. So almost a 5-hour pay-per-view. Definitely long. That is definitely something I will complain about, but we will talk about that later. If you guys want to follow me on social media, also, I am at the official Ango. I'd greatly appreciate that as well because we're getting close to 3,000 followers on Twitter. I'm going to throw that in the chat as well. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful night. But that right there, the official Ango, is my Twitter. If you guys are on this live chat with me today, go ahead and tweet me, follow me. Let me know if I'm not following you. Send me a tweet right now if I'm not following you, and I will follow you by the end of the night before I go to sleep. Nonetheless, I don't want to talk about promoting a whole bunch of stuff. What I actually want to talk about is AEW Revolution 2022 because this was, in fact, my favorite pay-per-view that they've had. But yes, there is some things I have to complain about. Don't get mad at me. It's just natural for me to be honest and transparent. So let's talk about the pre-show, the kickoff show. We had Layla Hirsch against Chris Statlander. It's weird because this is kind of it's like the third women's storyline that was currently ongoing, right? You had Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, then obviously Jade and Tay Conti. This match right here was actually pretty good. Layla Hirsch defeated Chris Statlander by cheating. Then we saw a little bit of Red Velvet. It looks like this storyline will continue. I don't want to speak too much about the pre-show. I know everybody's tired as well, so I don't want to keep this as like a 2-hour, 3-hour live stream, but I do have to talk about a lot of stuff. One thing I do want to mention, though, is Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander, and, of course, Red Velvet are in a very interesting storyline right now. We're going to see how that progresses. But, yes, it is definitely a good look for Layla Hirsch, who looked good. Definitely looked good. Hook dominated QT Marshall. Cool little finish. I think Hook is definitely getting fans in love with him. The fans are definitely loving Hook. send Hook. It's more than just the meme. There's obviously a lot of support for Hook as he takes over AEW. He gets the win. QT Marshall, definitely one of his longest things, like one of the longest matches he's had, but ultimately it was a good match, so no complaint there. We got House of Black versus Penta, Eric Rowan, aka Redbeard, and then of course Pac. Really quick, this is something I actually wrote down. It's something that is really, really important for me to make a point. This match was super good, okay? But it's all about presentation. And I see a lot of people, they often criticize AEW and whether or not AEW is the type of company that can do this dark, gimmicky stuff. And I think they could. The presentation of Penta, dark, is like beautiful, okay? The fire, the entrance, the Titantron, everything just looks perfect. The entrance for House of Black looked incredible. So for those who consider any sort of, if they consider to be any sort of negative, if they want to be negative towards AEW in this regard, I don't disagree. I think House of Black and Penta and Pac, whatever they're doing, is pretty damn sweet. The presentation is off the hook. They look legit. It looks like a big deal. This match was incredibly good. It should have not been on the pre-show. That match should have definitely been on the main card. That's my personal opinion. The show, the pay-per-view opens up with Eddie Kingston and Jericho. What a spot. What a spot for Jericho and Kingston. This is so crazy. Because literally, I think you can argue a couple matches for being match of the night. That's how I know for a fact there was just so many great moments in this show. But Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, to me, was a typical WWE match with storytelling through and through. It just seemed like AEW was really letting them go. The match immediately started with Eddie Kingston going for this like crazy suplex. Dude, Chris Jericho looked like his head was about to like fall off his body. I loved it. Honestly, I love this match so much. For me personally, just based on my personal taste, this may have actually been my favorite match of the night. And that's really, really hard for me to say like on live stream because there were so many good matches. But I'll explain a little bit later on too. Kingston actually makes Jericho tap out, which I don't think Jericho has tapped out in AEW since he's been in the company. My prediction was that Jericho was going to win and turn heel. Obviously, they are teasing the heel turn. That is for sure. They are teasing the heel turn. Kingston wanted him to shake hands, obviously, because that was part of like the story. Jericho did not shake his hand after tapping out. So clearly, Jericho turning heel is what's going to make a lot of sense. I really love this match. Storyline-wise, the storytelling, just everything about it was really good. And it was kind of a long match too, but the crowd was so into it. The energy was there. It definitely set the tone that AEW Revolution was going to be a really big show. So I do give them a lot of props for pulling this off, and it's not something that you expect all the time from AEW when it comes to kicking off a pay-per-view like this, because AEW kind of, in the past, and this is why I think Revolution is so good, but in the past, matches being placed where they are was always a big issue. That's not the issue here. The issue with AEW Revolution 2022 was not the match placement. Okay? The issue was the length of the pay-per-view, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But I did want to make that point, obviously, because it is important for me to mention that it was a really, really good match. The next match that we get after that is Jurassic Express, which, by the way, they're not being called Jurassic Express anymore, but it's Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. This match went too long. And it was an incredible spot fest. It was an incredible spot fest. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that the match was good. So, I want to be very clear. To me, I am all about storytelling. This match didn't really... I know what they were doing, right? With Red Dragon and the Young Bucks screwing each other over. It's kind of what I predicted. I feel like it was a very predictable match. A lot of great moments. What needs to be talked about here is Luchasaurus, because I don't think a lot of people are talking about Luchasaurus and what he actually did in this match, and that's why I enjoyed this match. I feel like Luchasaurus was really the MVP of this match. He was the glue of this match. Luchasaurus is the guy that brought everybody and made everybody look good. But the best part is Luchasaurus does this kip up into a double choke slam. Freaking unbelievable. Pretty damn incredible. And it was just something I really did enjoy. I also want to mention that this match did go long. So if I didn't mention that yet, this match went long. That seems to be the common thread here. And it's the only thing that really holds me back about AEW pay-per-views. I get it. 4 of them a year. You're trying to let everybody get their stuff in. You're trying to feature as many people as possible. You got to fix that. You got to fix that. This match went way too long for no reason. The story could have been told without having to be this long of a match. Nonetheless, it was still a good match. We got Jade Cargill versus Tay Conti. Dude, I know a lot of people didn't have expectations for this match. I just want to put it out there publicly. Jade Cargill is the star of AEW. She is the star of AEW. The fact that she's holding the TBS championship is fantastic for AEW. She needs to hold both belts. Like, I know people are absolutely going to hate when I say this, but I genuinely believe Jade Cargill is the star of AEW. She has the look, the presentation. From the minute that she entered this match, literally, it was a big deal. But I do want to point out something because there's a lot of people who don't know. Jade Cargill was doing some new moves, some new things. There were some new spots, a lot of great moments, right? Jade Cargill is being helped by Bryan Danielson. So take that however you'd like. But it is very clear that Jade Cargill is absolutely getting better. And she's got the look. She's got the presentation. I love the fact that she's with Mark Sterling. It's working. It is working. The crowd loved this match. It was really good, you know? And I get it. Some people don't really care for the character stuff. I get it. I know the AEW audience, right? The AEW audience would prefer good wrestling over good characters. Imagine what you can do when you turn somebody into a really good character who ends up becoming a really good wrestler. Jade is getting there. I would say Jade Cargill is a bigger attraction right now in AEW than any other female talent. I can also argue that Jade Cargill is on the same level as some of these very big top names in the men's division. I really genuinely think the highest of Jade Cargill in AEW. She is the one to look out for. By the way, as they continue to show the presentation of, 27-0, 28-0, 35-0, 100-0, that to me adds to it. I feel like they're very calculated and strategic with the way that they're booking Jade Cargill. And I will be completely honest with you. This match was the one I did not think I would care about. Just basically because I thought it was too predictable. But some of the moments between Jade and Anna Jay, the steel chair, a couple different moments where like Tay Conti looked like she could have actually won. Good stuff here. Really good match. Very impressive stuff by both of them. Both of them continue to improve. And again, this is why I'm just extremely happy about this. We have the ladder match, guys. This is actually, strangely enough, I did not know, and the verdict is still out, right? I don't know if I like this match. I don't know if I agree with Wardlow winning the ladder match. Not saying I don't like Wardlow. I kind of predicted that maybe Wardlow would lose because Shawn Spears accidentally cost him the match, and then, we finally get to the big break. But the reason why I didn't like Wardlow winning is because I don't think Wardlow needed to win this ladder match. I look at guys like Ricky Starks right now, who kind of is in purgatory. Like, he's not doing anything massive. I also do look forward to the idea of Ricky Starks versus Sammy Guevara for a TNT championship. This match was great, though. A lot of great moments, a lot of great spots, but it went a little too long. Again, it doesn't take away from how good the match is. It doesn't take away from how good the pay-per-view is. But the match, everybody's getting in their spots. Everybody's getting in these big moments, and I understand why it's happening. But it doesn't change the fact, for me personally, as a fan, I'm not talking about AEW creatively. I'm not talking about WWE creatively. I'm not talking about whether the show is good or bad. What I'm saying specifically right here is when the show goes on too long, my viewing experience becomes a little bothered. Watching the show, getting tired, drinking a water, grabbing another water, gotta go use the restroom. It sucks. because you're sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours. You don't want to get up and grab a water. You don't want to get up and go and go take a piss. What you want to do is watch the show because there's so much action that you don't want to miss. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with AEW pay-per-views. They are running too long, and I don't think Wardlow winning this match, okay, cool. I don't think it had to happen, but I'm not mad that it happened, right? But this match itself took so long that I just got to the point where I was like, all right, whatever. Crowd at this point is very happy with what they're seeing so far, which is fantastic. So, I do want to make that very clear. It was some really good stuff. It's just, again, too long that it didn't need to be. I might have messed up the order here, but we end up getting the CM Punk and MJF match. I want to talk about that for a minute. CM Punk retro entrance. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Dressed in the ROH inspired attire. Absolutely love it. This, right? So I talked about Eddie Kingston and Jericho potentially being match of the night. You can argue that CM Punk and MJF was match of the night because everybody has their own little personal style and opinions and their own little taste, right? Now, me personally, as a wrestling fan, I choose to go where the stories go. I like storytelling. I like character work. I understand, and I get it. Some people don't like this about me. I say it all the time. But one of the reasons why I like WWE, AEW, and Impact is because I think all three of them have the ability to tell a good story. Not from start to finish, but I think all three companies have the ability to tell a good story. It just depends who they're using and how they choose to do so. AEW told the story with Wardlow turning on MJF tonight. CM Punk bleeding like crazy. MJF bleeding like crazy. This is a fantastic match. And I want to mention this because I think it's so important. MJF knows he is losing. He is screaming for Wardlow to come out. He comes out. He walks down to the ring. He's looking for the ring, right? He can't find it. MJF is pissed. CM Punk takes advantage. Next thing you know, Wardlow finds the ring and leaves it for CM Punk to take it. Wardlow, like a cocky son of a gun, walks away. He finally turns on MJF. Now, the reason why I like this is the same reason why I didn't like Wardlow winning the number one contendership for the TNT Championship, right? Because Wardlow's in a story now with MJF. They're going to have a story. Double or nothing, MJF versus Wardlow, to me, is inevitable. So does that mean Wardlow wins the TNT Championship only to then have to defend it to MJF? I don't know what their plans are, but I did find it to be very interesting, just considering the booking decision they made. Again, I just don't think Wardlow needed to win that ladder match because now he's going to be in a storyline that is obviously big, right? This match was awesome, though. And you guys, if you follow me on on a daily basis, I make videos 2 times at the minimum per day. I keep you guys updated with literally everything happening in wrestling. For anybody who knows me, one of the biggest things that you need to know is that I'm not really into the blood. I'm not really into it. And even that, I was watching this match still being pretty damn impressive. I was impressed. It was good, man. This is a good match. It started off with the entrances. Everything about it was really cool. I really enjoyed this match a lot. And again, that's why I think out of all of the matches here, I really thought this match and Kingston and Jericho just blew me away. Because again, I like the characters. I like the storytelling. I like the story that is being told. Again, I don't know if I got the timeline mixed up of it, but we did get an announcement from Tony Schiavone. I feel like it happened actually before that, but Tony Schiavone announced a new contract signing for Isaiah Swerve Scott, a.k.a. Shane Strickland, who is now going by the name Swerve Strickland. I made a breaking news video about this on the channel. That was really cool. I love it. I love Swerve. Don't know if he's going to be heel or babyface. You guys can check out all of those thoughts in the video I posted on my channel. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I did love it. I think Swerve is going to be a great addition for AEW. We did get a super chat from Web Surfer Guy. Thank you, Web Surfer Guy. I am going to read your super chat in just a moment because we are actually going to talk about the women's title match. So we did get a new AEW Women's World Championship belt, which, by the way, was absolutely beautiful. This was the one thing I definitely 1,000,000% did not understand tonight watching the show. I did not understand this idea that AEW was going to have Thunder Rosa lose. I do not. Britt comes out with this new belt. There's no hype. There's no anything. Commentary just talks about this new, beautiful, big championship belt, which is very beautiful. But for some reason, there's no hype behind it. There's nobody talking about it beforehand. Nobody in the wrestling media, by the way, leaked this. So nobody expected this. The match is fine. Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker is fine. They have good chemistry. I'm not complaining about the match itself. What I think I don't like the most about this is the fact that Britt Baker won. And it's not because I don't like Britt Baker. I think she's incredible. When I talk very highly of Jade Cargill earlier in the show, you have to keep in mind that I also think very highly of Britt Baker. You know how WWE has like Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Sasha Banks, right? Like they are so important to WWE. Jade Cargill and Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, to me is the equivalent for AEW. They are massively important for that women's division. As that women's division grows, I expect to see great things. I don't know what this means for Thunder Rosa not winning. Thunder Rosa not winning the championship, to me, did not make sense. I really don't know what their plan is, unfortunately. Now, with that being said, Britt Baker is the champ. She walks out with that new championship belt. Web Surfer Guy did leave a super chat for $5. Thank you, Web Surfer Guy. I appreciate your support. Web Surfer Guy says AEW could do a Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in a cage match to prevent interference. What a very appropriate super chat for this topic. Because this seems to be a thing with Britt Baker, right? As the heel character. Constantly having interference. Jamie Hayter, Rebel, Reba, right? I agree 100%. I do think it is imperative that AEW does it. There is, I believe there's already been confirmation that AEW is headed to San Antonio. That's what I would do. A steel cage match is perfect. Web Surfer Guy, thank you for your super chat. I think that's perfect booking. Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. Look, if you're going to book this match in a steel cage, you got to give Thunder Rosa the belt. You have to do it. You have to do it. Don't waste any more time. They have done enough with Britt Baker as the champion. They have booked her very good as the women's champion. I will never take that away. I will never say that is something that's bad about AEW. I genuinely believe that Britt Baker she's done a fantastic job. But it's time to do some new stories. Keep things fresh. Make a little bit of a change. It's okay. It's okay. That new women's belt, though, is beautiful. I would not be spending a lot of time talking about it if I did not actually care about it. I do genuinely care about it. That previous belt they had was too small. I didn't like it. This belt looks like a real world championship belt. And I give a lot of props for the way AEW designs their championship belts. I understand that a lot of people criticize Impact and WWE, but for those who care about my personal opinions, when it comes to championship belts, I am very impressed with the belt designs that we have seen from Impact, WWE, and AEW. For example, WWE's North American Championship, the new Intercontinental Championship that a lot of people don't like, I do like it. And I like that AEW, WWE, and Impact all have a different belt style. Also, I do want to mention Deadlock Pro Wrestling as well, because their World Championship is pretty sweet as well. So just food for thought. Good stuff by AEW there. Mox versus Bryan. Man, oh man. Talk about violence. Bryan Danielson and Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley literally, again, could be the very... It could very well be in the argument for match of the night as well, right? And I guess everybody has their own preference. Do you prefer a really good match with spots, or do you care about a really good match that has storytelling and good wrestling? Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson tore the house down. Jon Moxley wins. Pretty questionable decision with the way that they've done it, the way they've maneuvered that booking. But guys, It's all about William Regal. William Regal debuts at AEW Revolution. Now, I talked about this more in depth. Okay? We talked about this more in depth on the show, on the channel. So if you guys haven't seen it, I did make a video. It is on the channel right now. So if you guys do plan on watching it, William Regal debuts at AEW Revolution. I was really happy with the results of this booking. I don't think AEW, honestly, I can say I feel pretty comfortable about this. I can genuinely say it is 2022. I don't think AEW has ever made a smarter decision than this right there. Bringing in William Regal is huge. It's way bigger than Isaiah Swerve Scott. It's way bigger than Swerve Strickland. You established Bryan Danielson losing, which is fine. They shake hands, and it looks like William Regal is going to be managing them as a team. I don't think AEW has ever had a better booking decision than this. Business decision and booking decision, creative decision. This was literally perfect. It's a good thing for AEW. You know what's the problem, though? Because, again, you got to talk about the good stuff and the bad stuff, and that's why it's so important for me to discuss this. The show was long. The crowd was not as into it as they should have been. The crowd was tired. Fans were tired. And I don't blame them. I don't blame fans for not reacting. I don't blame fans for being tired. I don't blame the energy being off, because that is something that you're noticing throughout all of these matches. The simple solution to this is stop having so many damn matches. That's really the truth. That's the honest truth. That is what I believe to be the truth. Now, with that being said, William Regal, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley, to me, that right there, that booking was WWE type of stuff, but it was excellent. Excellent. Great match. Better story being told. This right here is the thing that makes me think I can't wait until Dynamite. That's why it sucks to have such a long show. That's why it sucks having such a big roster, right? This is the complaint that AEW gets, is they have such a big roster. You're trying your best to let everybody get in their stuff. I understand. I see it from a different perspective than most fans, because I see a lot of people complimenting AEW for providing nonstop action. And I admit that is fantastic. But as a wrestling fan, on a Sunday night, dude, these matches are going on too long. These segments, these things, it feels like it's dragging on, despite the fact that it's so good. I'm just saying for AEW to possibly consider either shortening the amount of matches or do these matches shorter. You don't need 30 minutes to tell a story. MJF and CM Punk was a fantastic match, but again, it didn't need to be that long. That's the problem. It just didn't need to be that long. Moxley and Bryan Danielson just felt right. William Regal showing up made it. Something I want to consider too, because I know for a fact that people aren't talking about it. Who's going to be joining this faction? For a while we were talking about Daniel Garcia. Perhaps we were talking about Lee Moriarty. What about Cesaro? Just something to consider. Cesaro is a free agent. He's now with the company in WWE. He can sign anywhere. He can do anything he wants. There's a good chance that we could see Cesaro at some point. At some point, we could see Cesaro join AEW. I don't know. There's talks about trio titles. Maybe William Regal manages this trio of Jon Moxley, Cesaro, and Bryan Danielson. Just something to consider about. Just something to consider. But this pay-per-view was long, and that's why it freaking kills me. Because this was such a good pay-per-view, and people are tired. And keep in mind, that's just from the viewing experience of watching it from home. Something that you have to keep in mind is, what is it like for a fan to sit there watching these matches. Just something to consider. After Mox and Bryan, we get this trios match. Sting, Darby, right? Matt Hardy, Andrade, Sammy Guevara. I mean, everybody's in this match. This was crazy, dude. This was a crazy match. Two spots I want to talk about specifically. Sting jumping off the mezzanine. He goes through 3 tables. I don't know what the hell they were. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I think Sting's like 62 or 63 years old. Nonetheless, Sting going through the tables was absolutely crazy. The big moment here was the Spanish Fly. Sammy Guevara hit the Spanish Fly. Was on Isaiah Cassidy, I think. I can't remember for sure. Just very interesting. Very interesting. Crazy spots. Crazy interesting match. I loved it. This is actually a funny thing too, just to kind of mention. This entire show felt long, right? I think everybody's under this general consensus that this was a long pay-per-view again. But I think what made this the best AEW pay-per-view of all time is the fact that this trios match, which could have definitely main evented like a Dynamite or whatever, ends up being the co-main event technically. Ends up being an amazing match. This is the match, by the way, that I had no expectations for as well. I didn't have expectations for Jade and Tay Conti. I didn't have expectations for this because I'm not really invested in the storyline, if I'm being honest. I don't really care about the AHFO type of stuff. To me, I'm not really worried about that. I don't really care about that stuff. It's just not a storyline that's for me. I'm not saying it's bad. This match delivered. Darby hits the coffin drop on Matt Hardy. He gets the win 1-2-3. Then we finally get our main event. Our main event is with Adam Page and Adam Cole. Nobody knows anything about this match except one thing is for certain. Someone named Adam is going to win. I'll be honest with you. I did not expect Hangman Page to win. He won the match. Good match. Not complaining about this match. But what I will say is this. This match was incredibly overbooked. Incredibly overbooked. You don't need the Dark Order. You don't need Red Dragon. You don't need any of this. Unfortunately, on social media, instead of people talking about the match, what they were talking about was a cameraman who was wearing a ski mask. Now, I assumed the reason why he was wearing a ski mask that's covering half of his face is because of COVID, right? Instead of wearing like a normal mask or something, you just wear a ski mask and that's it. Now, if you look closely at the pictures that are floating around social media, the body type of this individual, based on the image, kind of looked like Cesaro. So a lot of people on social media were kind of like working themselves a little bit, discussing whether or not this was Cesaro possibly making his debut. It obviously wasn't. But based on the fact that the match was so incredibly overbooked and there was so much stuff happening, it was very clear to me that when Adam Hangman Page won the match, I didn't think anything else was going to happen. Adam Page and Adam Cole was a completely overbooked match, but it still doesn't change the fact it was a good match. I mean, that's really the truth. When you really think about it, that's really the truth. So I'm not really like disappointed in this match. I think I'm a little bit shocked. I thought maybe Adam Cole would win. But who knows? Who knows what AEW is going to do here? When you really think about it, CM Punk, when he won his match, he was taunting for the title belt. Is there a chance that maybe MJF has gotten so much under the skin of CM Punk that maybe CM Punk decides to turn heel? Is that a possibility? Maybe CM Punk turns heel. If CM Punk does turn heel, is it possible that CM Punk could go on to challenge Hangman Page? Just something to think about. This show was really good. Do not take it as me complaining because I said the show was long. To me, in my eyes, this was the best AEW pay-per-view. I've gone to 2 All Outs, 2 Double or Nothings. I've seen my fair share of AEW events. This was a good pay-per-view. This was a great pay-per-view. This was their best pay-per-view. Seriously. I genuinely believe that. And I think that's why, for me personally, as a wrestling fan, as somebody who like talks about wrestling on YouTube and stuff, I have to tell you that I think it's the best pay-per-view. This will probably be the best-selling pay-per-view as well. But I also think it's important for me to mention to you guys that AEW can even have better pay-per-views if they don't take so long with them. Again, not every match has to be 30, 40 minutes. Not every match has to be a spot fest. Not everybody has to get involved. I get it. I understand. You have a big roster. You have 4 or 5 hours to get everybody as many people as possible on the TV screen. You're trying to expose your talent. I get it. Hopefully, with the purchase of ROH, they figure out a way to move talent in ways where they don't have to do this. That's what I'm hoping for. Because to me, this was the best pay-per-view. And it's crazy because, you know, it's like looking at the pre-show, right? Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander didn't have to happen on the pre-show. I get why they did it, but it didn't have to happen on the pre-show. That match could have been on Dynamite. House of Black versus Eric Redbeard, which, by the way, I don't think I said this earlier. You guys need to understand, Eric Redbeard, Eric Rowan, absolutely killed it tonight. Just wonderful stuff. Without a doubt, it was wonderful stuff. I'm not going to... I personally, as a fan, I am not going to be mad if AEW brought him in permanently. I would not be mad. He did really well. Him and Brody King were really good together. The chemistry between all 6 of these people, by the way, was just really, really good. So, I think, you know, the biggest thing here is, like, that match should have been on the main card. You know, it's tough. It's tough. They have a tough situation at hand. I get it. Some people are going to think that, oh, if you make the matches shorter, it's going to feel rushed. I don't agree with that. And the reason why I don't agree with that necessarily is because I was watching the tag team match. It took too long, not because, not for any other reason than they were just doing spots after spots after spots. But again, I don't think the show being long does not take away from how good the pay-per-view was. I think every match delivered. Even Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, like I said, it was a good match. I just didn't agree with the finish. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. That's all I'm saying. If you guys want to support the show, don't forget you could drop a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it if you'd like to support the channel. That's how you do so. Or you could join the channel. If you join the channel, you could become a member for $4.99 a month. For those who don't know, maybe you're stopping by for the first time. What I do on this channel is I talk about wrestling 7 days a week. At very minimum, I have 2 videos that go up every single day. On this channel, I provide the latest news and rumors, everything that you need to stay up to date with everything that's happening in wrestling. So if you guys want to consider joining, becoming a member, I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to leave a super chat, I would greatly appreciate that as well. But overall, a very good pay-per-view. I want to take a look at the chat. I want to see what you guys are saying. What are your thoughts? Let's actually do a poll. Actually, you know what? I got it. I got a poll right here, actually. Let's do it. Give me a second. We're going to build this up. Let's see. They do have to give, by the way, as I'm trying to build this poll, they have to do something with Jade Cargill. They got to do something with Thunder Rosa. I would love to see them feud, maybe. At this point, I don't know, because I want Thunder Rosa to hold the belt, and they just haven't done it yet. But for some reason, I can't create a poll. Oh, there you go. Thoughts of AEW Revolution. Good, bad. Let's see what the community says. Guys, I just dropped the poll in there, so don't forget, go ahead and vote on the poll. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. Very, very curious. But I like the pay-per-view, man. I definitely did like the pay-per-view. A lot of people praising Sting. I agree. Those two spots, man, the Spanish Fly from Sammy Guevara was incredible. Sting jumping off the mezzanine to the 3 tables, absolutely incredible. I really enjoyed this pay-per-view, guys. I really did. Not gonna lie, I really think what AEW did here was manage to get me more excited about TV. Because I won't lie to you guys, I've kind of been like bored with their television show, personally speaking. So now it feels kind of good to see what they're doing. But anyways, guys, we've been live for about 45 minutes or so. It is now 12:36 a.m. And we're going to end the show. If you guys want to get in a last-minute super chat, I'll be happy to read it before we get off the air. But at this point of the night, I understand you guys have been literally watching wrestling for the last 5 hours, so I did want to wrap it up. But overall, yes, I enjoyed the show. Zachary had just left a super chat, $1.99. Thank you, Zachary. Zachary says, Britt and Rosa in a weaponized steel cage match, 100%. Dude, there you go. Which, by the way, I know a lot of people probably don't watch NXT, which is fine. I love NXT. More specifically with NXT, though, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because NXT had a weaponized cage match with Tony D'Angelo and Pete Dunne. And it was just really cool to see. And I really, really love that idea. I think it would actually be a massive idea, by the way, for AEW to do that. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, keep in mind, between a Lights Out match and now this match, there's a really big incentive to have another gimmick match, but it's got to happen quick. It's got to happen fast. They can't keep dragging out this story. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, thank you, Zachary, for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for your support. If anybody else has any super chats they want to get in, go ahead and get those in. We'll probably be live for just a few more minutes before we get off. Keep in mind, this stream is brought to you by streammusic.gg. If you guys want to listen to some music, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, streammusic.gg is some really cool stuff. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. It's actually my music service, so not some corporate entity. I made the service, and it's completely free. Content creators, Twitch streamers, YouTubers, they can use the music for background music. We got some EDM, some pop, some lo-fi, cinematic stuff. It's really cool. Big library that's being built. So all of my streams on this channel are sponsored by streammusic.gg. You could go to the website streammusic.gg today. And again, all of the music is accessible for free. What a night, man. What a night. Good pay-per-view. Oh, and if you guys haven't liked the stream, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Don't forget to thumbs up the stream. I would just greatly appreciate it, you know? Just saying. But yeah, I mean, what a night, dude. I you know, just with the way things have been too lately, I think I just miss watching wrestling. And I get it, man. Some people, they don't love WWE anymore, and they hate WWE, and I understand it. You guys never hear me compare AEW and WWE in these live streams, but that's largely due to the fact that I think both of them are different products, and I think both of them do their product pretty well right now. So, just in general, for me right now, like, I know people have to pick one versus the other. I don't. I think AEW does something different from WWE, and what AEW does that is different is good. And I think what WWE does that is different from AEW is good as well. So you're never really going to hear me talk shit about WWE. I think people are amazed to hear that. But there is stuff that is like, you know, it's just the way it is, I guess. Which is cool because it's Sunday, 12:40 a.m. Now tomorrow... Tomorrow we have Raw. Tuesday we have NXT. Wednesday we have AEW Dynamite. I mean, it's going to be a stacked week, man. Stacked week with wrestling, plus William Regal in AEW. Like, what the hell is happening here? You know? Just something to consider. If we don't have any more super chats within the next minute or so, we will just conclude the stream. I think at this point, you know, Yeah. By the way, the poll results, about 100 votes or so, 96% of people said good, 4% said bad. So we do have a couple AEW haters in here. So yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked the pay-per-view. I thought this was their best pay-per-view. I was in Chicago for CM Punk's debut. You know, Bryan Danielson's debut. This was massive. Zachary just left another super chat. Wow. For another $1.99. Thank you, Zachary. WWE has been great with NXT 2.0 and SmackDown is okay. Yeah. I mean, I've been very adamant. For those who are in the Discord server, I've been talking about it before. I said there's things that AEW does that is really good. And there's things that WWE that does really good. So I watch it. But the problem that I've learned, and this is something I've seen covering wrestling on YouTube, people are willing to shit on a product without actually watching the product. This happens all the time. So when Zachary here says WWE has been great with NXT 2.0 and SmackDown's okay, I know other people feel the same way because I've seen them talk about it, but I've seen people also say that WWE sucks. WWE is stale and boring. It's more of the same old storyline, same old this, same old that. I mean, look, I get it. Tell me how AEW really differs. Tell me how Impact Wrestling differs. There's definitely some sort of creative burnout that's happened with wrestling. I mean, literally, we cannot criticize WWE and say that they don't. We can't say WWE recycles storylines or concepts when AEW, Impact, ROH, New Japan, they all do. You put different faces. You try to switch it up a little bit. You try to do these things to, like, really get good about it. But at the end of the day, it is difficult. It is difficult. Seriously, it is difficult. I don't think people realize how difficult that actually is. And to WWE's credit, and to AEW's credit, they have a great roster. Somebody told me the other day, they said WWE doesn't make stars, AEW makes stars. I said, okay, give me an example of when WWE didn't push somebody new. They haven't watched WWE in a while, so when they have this argument with me, they're forgetting that Ricochet just won the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I can't say whether or not this is going to lead to anything good for WWE, but my point that I'm making when I talk about this is that WWE is pushing Ricochet. You can say WWE doesn't push somebody new, but at the end of the day, they're pushing Ricochet right now. In fact, Ricochet is the number 2 babyface of SmackDown. So it's hard for people. It's hard for me to have that conversation with people because I think AEW makes new stars too. But why was it that maybe, you know, for example, let's go back to this this card, right? When you talk about Revolution, if you really want to be nitpicky, Jade Cargill is like what, 29-0? Tay Conti has not won the championship. Why didn't Jade is already established. Why didn't Jade let Tay Conti win? Why didn't AEW book that? If they're about building new stars, you have to do things a certain way. So I don't get mad. You know what I mean? I think there's a formula that they have. Zachary just left another super chat for $4.99. If AEW took the character development of NXT 2.0 with their great wrestling, just imagine how much better of a great product AEW could be. 100%. I 100% believe this. I 100% believe this. 100%. Because I think NXT 2.0 got me invested in the characters. I'm a character guy. Everything is subjective. So I know people sometimes they're like, oh, well, how can you like NXT? How can you like NXT? I see people say this. I like characters. Wrestling has gimmicky shit. Orange Cassidy was in this ladder match. He has not held a championship belt in AEW yet. Right now, as it stands, he's not really in a big storyline. He's not in a prominent storyline. You could have had Orange Cassidy win this ladder match. By the way, everybody who knows me knows that I'm not really big into Orange Cassidy. I'm somebody who is more into the gimmicky character shit, and I'm just not into Orange Cassidy. Jim Ross is not into Orange Cassidy. They've openly admitted this. Tony Khan's like, hey, he's a massive draw. This is what they like. So this is where I give credit to AEW, opposed to WWE. If I criticize WWE, my thing is, hey, you have a ton of roster members who are getting over with the crowd and you're choosing not to push them. I get it. I understand why WWE. I listened to Vince McMahon's interview with Pat McAfee. I'm starting to understand the way WWE does their business. There's a lot more stuff that is involved with it. AEW knows that Orange Cassidy is a hit with the audience. So, to me, it's not for me. It's not for me. Orange Cassidy's not for me. I watched him do these little shin kicks or whatever against Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow, and everything like that. It's just not for me. But I can't say it doesn't work. Why? Because there's statistics to prove that Orange Cassidy is a massive draw for AEW. So as a fan, I can say it's not for me, but I can't say it sucks. And that's why I think right now you will not hear me bash WWE. And you won't hear me bash AEW because they do things differently. And the way they do things to their audience and their business model works for them. And that's why when I say AEW Revolution 22 was AEW's best pay-per-view of all time, it's because I feel like it was AEW's best pay-per-view of all time. Of all time, I do believe that. But the title of this stream isn't the best wrestling pay-per-view of all time. Because ultimately, I think every company has had some really good pay-per-views. And they all can't be compared. I think they are all different from each other. AEW and WWE actually don't have a hard time creating stars, by the way. The more and more that I think about it, I don't think they actually have a hard time creating stars. I think what they have a hard time with is deciding when they want to create the star. For example, Adam Cole had the opportunity to become a world champion tonight. He didn't, despite being booked very strong since his arrival in AEW. As a fan, if I'm looking at AEW and the way they book Adam Cole going forward, I'm always going to remind myself that he didn't win the championship. He couldn't win the big one. But at the same time, too, I can be reactive and be like, oh, he's screwed. He didn't walk out with the belt. Or I can watch it and see how they book him afterwards. Obviously, there's this little relationship thing between the Undisputed Originals and the Elite. Then you have, by the way, for those who didn't know, Don Callis was on the pre-show, cut a promo. And I think, with Don Callis talking about Kenny and stuff, there's obviously some sort of thing that they're going to be doing there. Zachary, again, with another super chat for $1.99. WWE has shareholders and AEW is direct-to-viewer. 100%. And thank you again, Zachary, for your super chats. I kind of want to point this out because to me it's actually very important to mention this. I think AEW fans should get prepared for the day that perhaps maybe AEW potentially maybe becomes a public company, a publicly traded company. I don't know if that happens in 2022. I don't know if that happens in 2023. My point that I'm making, though, is I could very well see that happening at some point. Again, thank you, Zachary, for all of your super chats. If anybody else has one more super chat that you want to submit, let me know. I know it's like almost 1 in the morning, so many people showed up. I think we had about 500 viewers today, so thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who did click the thumbs up button. Zachary, Web Surfer Guy, thank you guys so much both for your super chats today. We got the debut of William Regal. Very, very massive day for AEW. Again, I thought it was a great pay-per-view. It was definitely their best pay-per-view. And look, guys, I want to do more live streams. I want to talk about Raw, NXT, Impact, and AEW. If you guys come here, I'll be live every night. If you guys want me to do more of this, let me know. Otherwise, I think we could just end the stream now. Anybody want to get a last-minute super chat, let me know. Otherwise, we will be logging off for the night. I've submitted 3 super chats and none have delivered or posted. Ooh, I'm not sure what's going on. Sorry. I am so sorry. We do actually have a Streamlabs link. Hold on. Give me a second. We have an alternative to that. I forgot. See, I forgot that we actually had this alternative, by the way. Yikes. Where is it at? Where is it at? Let's see. I'm gonna find it. Right here. Yeah, we did have a link. So yeah, if super chats don't work or anything like that, you guys want to submit something, you can use this link right here, streamlabs.com/ango/tip. I'll give it about another minute or so if you guys want to send anything. Otherwise, if not, no big deal. We can end the stream. What a day. No, hopefully you guys all had a good day. WWE 2K22 is coming out in a couple days. That should be very interesting. AEW's console game, we still don't have any other updates on that, so that's going to be very interesting. Let's see. Thank you, Coda Skyline, for stopping by as well. I appreciate you. Cool. Yeah, it's been a long night, guys, so we will call it a stream. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll be sticking in here for a few minutes while we're getting logged off. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Oh shit, dude, this always happens. Jim Kuba, I think the women's division needs new blood in it. I agree. To answer that, by the way, thank you for your $2 super chat. I did want to mention this because this is actually really important too. Ember Moon, Mia Yim, Taya Valkyrie, those are 3 names that have not been signed yet. Also, Toni Storm has not been signed yet, so that's just another thing to keep in mind. There are definitely free agents that have yet to be signed. The way I look at it, when that comes up, in my mind, I'm thinking AEW will potentially sign them soon. So, thank you, Jim, for the $2 super chat. I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, very, very good show. I loved it. Let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you for hanging out and staying around. I know 5 hours of watching wrestling then hanging out with me is a lot to ask for. So thank you guys. And I'll see you guys next time.
caving in. I feel the pressure on my back. I just won't let the devil in. My life feels incomplete